Wait, I'm doing my very first live. This is exciting. It seems like there's a pretty big like latency in this, so this is gonna be a little bit weird for me. So I'm just gonna kind of like talk, and we're just gonna go for it. I've got this great list of people who entered the giveaway, and while I am preparing the bowl for to draw the names out of, I just wanted to chat with you guys and open it up. There's a chat box over here on the side. If y'all can't see it, I'm gonna say something in it. If y'all are watching and you want to know what's up, ask some questions. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to answer some questions while I get ready to draw the names from the giveaway. For those of you who are just checking in and didn't know what was going on, I'm drawing a giveaway for 3 typing interviews. So I will draw 3 names out of here. I posted a video last week about how to find your Enneagram type. This is a really big question that a lot of people ask, because if you're going to use the Enneagram, it's important to know how to find out where you start, right? Like how to find out what type you are. And I think everybody's first inclination is definitely to jump and check out a test, right? Because of course it is. That's what makes sense. We have a framework for that. And I talked a little bit about that in the last video that I posted that you should definitely go check out. But I think that the best way, really, is to do some exploring on your own first. And then if that doesn't work, then doing a typing interview, which is what I'm going to be handing out today, giving away today, is 3 typing interviews. Because what the typing interview is, I think this is really what a lot of people don't know. It's really hard to talk and like tear paper effectively at the same time. So, sorry about that. I'm going to practice this for my next live. How to do things while talking. Yeah, so for people, this is really what I wanted to talk about was what is a typing interview and why is it more effective than a test? And essentially, a typing interview is done with somebody who is certified to do typing interviews. There are different schools of Enneagram training and whatnot from, all over the world. And not all of the schools train people to do typing interviews, but several do. And I'm from one of those schools, the Narrative Enneagram, based out of, their headquarters is in Boulder, Colorado. I trained with them in Menlo Park, California. And the typing interview is a really, really interesting thing because it is a place where you can, as the interviewee, you get the opportunity to do some kind of guided self-reflection. This is really one of the biggest pieces that is different from the test, right? Like, you take a test, you punch in all your answers, and then it spits out, oh, you're probably this, or you're definitely that. And that's all, right? I think what's so interesting about the typing interview is that when you're doing a typing interview with somebody who knows how to do them well, they're kind of always throwing things back to you, right? So in some sense, it's they're asking you how you feel about certain things or your experience with certain topics, really trying to hit on the themes that are kind of inherent in different Enneagram types, and seeing, where you kind of light up, what your language is like, what your speaking style is like, whether you take a really long time to answer or you are more right off the cuff. These are all things that we pay attention to in a typing interview. Oh, I kind of ripped that name, but I know what it is. If I pick it, I will know it. And so in doing all this and trying to help people discover their Enneagram types, it's interesting because so often after a typing interview, people are like, you asked me questions about things that I'd never really given any thought to. And really, this is what's so valuable about typing interviews, is that it allows us to explore parts of ourselves that maybe we haven't before. And sometimes that points us into the direction of things that aren't our type, right? If you've never thought about it before, there's a good chance that, it's not important to you. And so therefore is not indicative of your type. But what I find happens most often is that those things that we don't think about, those things that we've never really considered, are often things that live in our shadow. The things that they're running in the background, whether we have been aware of them or not. And that's where things with our Enneagram type get really interesting. Because as an 8, I'm a fairly intense person. But had someone asked me if I were an intense person 10 years ago, I would have been like, not any more than anyone else. I know some intense people. I don't feel that intense, right? And, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and it's really like, for many of us, our types are just the water we swim in. It doesn't seem out of the ordinary. It doesn't seem abnormal or strange. It's just what we do. So having the opportunity in a typing interview to not just punch in a multiple choice answer or to click yes or no to something or to choose between two options, we're really asked to look a little bit deeper on our own accord, right? Like when somebody's in a typing interview with me, I'm asking them questions and they're the ones who get to answer. They're the ones who get to phrase it, to word it. They're the ones who get to deliver it. And there's so much information in that people don't often, I guess the best way to say that is people often take that information for granted. I've learned the trick now is to fold it first and then tear. We've got a lot of entries. I'm very excited. So what the typing interview actually looks like, this is kind of a long and drawn out way of getting there because I've been folding things and not super focused on what I'm saying. Sorry. I'll sit down with somebody, and often I like to get kind of an idea of what kind of, Enneagram research they've done in the past. If they have an idea of their type, I often ask them not to tell me so that I can have as kind of honest as honest of a assessment as I can. Like, I don't want to be influenced by what they think they might be or what they thought they were 2 years ago or what their test said, etc. So you can hear that motorcycle going by. So I'll ask people, what their history with the Enneagram is, how much exposure they have, just to kind of get a sense of where we're at and how much, maybe teaching I might be doing near the end of our session. And then we dive into a whole bunch of questions. So many questions. I got a nice little sheet. This is what a typing interview sheet looks like. There's no important information on that. You're not gonna be able to pause that and figure anything out. So I go through and I ask tons and tons of questions, and I'm listening to their answers. I'm listening to where their energy spikes. I'm listening to where they're visibly intrigued and excited about what they're talking about. I listen to their speaking style. I listen to the words that they use, the words that they use repeatedly. I'm checking in on all those things, and I'm looking at where are they most in alignment, right? Where are they kind of sitting with what's happening, right, for them as things come up? Where does this energy really kind of peak? And after we go through all these questions, then, I give some space to the person. Is there anything else that you feel like I need to know in order to make a good assessment? That's a question I often ask. Like, what questions did I not ask that are important? Sometimes people are like, oh, let me tell you, we didn't talk about this and X and Y and Z. And sometimes people are like, no, I think we're good. So at that point, I then take some time to kind of reflect over, what's happening. It takes a lot of work to not try and jump on a type, right, immediately. Because we all have those gut instincts, right? Oh, you're totally a this. Oh, yeah. And so a lot of my training was about not doing that, by letting the conversation unfold the way that it will. And then from there, being able to take in so much information, and essentially my job as the interviewer is just to kind of funnel it, right? Funnel it till it comes to like maybe 2 or 3 types that are more likely to be correct, to be the right place for them. So once we kind of narrow it down to 2 or 3, I share those with the person, and then we talk about it. We do some back and forth. What does this feel like for you? Do you know what these types are? Have you done any research on them? And often they'll be like, yeah, I've read through them. Sometimes I'm real close to what they thought they were. Sometimes I'm not. But really, I have to be really honest in my, presentation of a typing interview, is that I'm kind of sharing with you my information based on a very limited amount of time with you, right? And so I always let people know that you're the expert on you, not me. I'm not the expert on you. You are. And so with all that, we talk about it. We say, hey, does this work? Does this not? Some people are like, oh, that really resonates. This doesn't resonate. And we go from there, right? So we play some back and forth. I do a little bit of maybe teaching. I share some resources. So I have resources that everybody who takes a typing interview with me gets. PDF, other links, and places to look for information if you're still needing help. And then, that's basically it. And I always let people know that the typing interview isn't foolproof. It's not a 100% guarantee, because really the only person that can guarantee you that they know your type is you. And so it's just my job to help guide you there. And not necessarily in a way that's like leading or directing you to a place, but really to show you a mirror more than anything else. My job, as I like to say in typing interviews and in my coaching, is to reflect and connect. So I'm going to show you the mirror and reflect back to you the things that you're saying and doing. And then I'm going to help you connect those dots and how they relate to your Enneagram type. So I'd say maybe 25% of people walk away from the typing interview knowing their type, right? Like 100%. Whoa, my neighbor's dogs are so loud. Anyway, so about 25% know their type right off the bat. And then I would say after that, probably about 65 or 70% of people email me within a month or so telling me that they've discovered their type and they know for sure what it is. And sometimes it's one that I recommended and sometimes it's not. And you know what? Either way is cool because they know. And it doesn't matter if I was right or wrong. The process is still helpful, right? To have this time to self-reflect. And then, there's always that like 5 or 10% that I never hear from again. And not anything you knew about that. So there's a little bit about the typing interview process, kind of the spiel that I give to everybody who does an interview with me. And now let's get to the whole reason y'all are here. I'm going to draw these names and then I'm going to go find y'all in the comments of the video and contact you somehow. And if you're hearing your name on the video, on this live, which will play later, and you haven't gotten an email from me and I haven't been able to get in touch with you, then I would like for you to email me at Abby@ConsciousEnneagram. I don't know why I'm writing this down, but I am. Abby, ABI, @ConsciousEnneagram.com. Email me. Let me know that you were one of the ones who won. One of the ones who won. Oh my God. All right. Here is our bowl full of names. And I'm not even going to look. I'm going to get this one. Who is this? Deanna Bowman Pennock. Woo! Oh, that's out of focus. There we go. Yeah, Deanna. I have to look at my... There it is. Now I'm in focus. All right. Deanna, let's see who else gets to get a free typing interview. Or, if you already know your type, the typing interview is definitely transferable. So if you want to give it to somebody else, you can. Krista Jones. Woo-hoo! I guess I should do this. How do I... I'm so bad at focusing. There we go. Krista Jones. Yeah. Cool. And last, and certainly not least, is... Lauren Henderson. Woo! Lauren Henderson. Thank you all so much for joining in on the fun, for commenting and joining in the giveaway. I'm going to be doing more stuff like this so that I can connect with more people, especially now that I finally figured out how to do Instagram Live. This is great. I'm super stoked. So I'm going to be doing more of this later. Lauren, Krista, and Deanna, I'm very excited to soon be chatting with you. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye!